Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the complex financial world. One filing at a time, let us just say that this document we are looking at today is less about explosive news and more about a quiet confirmation of something that already happened. We are diving into a Form 8K filing from Brookfield Private Equity Fund LP. Now, these filings are typically for major events, but this one is pretty straightforward, focusing on what they call transactional net asset value. Think of it as the fund giving you the price tag for its units on a specific date. It is not exactly earth-shattering news, but it does give us a peek into their valuation methods. Before we go any further, if you like getting straight answers from these dense corporate documents, make sure you are subscribed. And if you want to chat with us and other finance enthusiasts, join our Discord community. The link is in the description below. Alright, so we have a current report here, Form 8K for Brookfield Private Equity Fund LP. This is filed to report certain material events that happen with publicly traded companies. It is like a public announcement system for significant happenings. The filing states it is pursuant to sections of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, which is the main body of law that governs how public companies report their information. It is all about transparency for investors. The date of the report is the 12th of January 2026, and the earliest event reported here is from the 7th of January 2026. This tells us the information is current and timely. And here we have our registrant, Brookfield Private Equity Fund LP. This is the entity that is making the filing. This section gives us some key identifying information about the fund. It tells us the state of incorporation, which is Delaware, a common place for businesses to incorporate due to its favorable corporate laws. We also see its commission file number and its IRS employer identification number. These are basically like a company's social security number used for official purposes. This is the principal executive office of the company. While important for official correspondence, it is not something we will dwell on for our analysis of the business itself. And here is their phone number. Again, useful for customer service perhaps, but not for our deep dive into the financial story. Here, the company is indicating whether this filing is also fulfilling other reporting obligations. In this case, all the boxes are unchecked, meaning this 8K is solely for the purpose of reporting the event described within. This part is interesting. It explicitly states that there are no securities registered under Section 12B of the Act. This means the company's securities are not listed and traded directly on a national stock exchange, like the New York Stock Exchange. This is typical for private equity funds where units are often traded privately or through specific platforms. Here they are marking their status as an emerging growth company. This designation comes with certain regulatory benefits, like relaxed reporting requirements for a period. And they have indeed checked the box confirming they are an emerging growth company. They have also indicated that they are not using the extended transition period for new accounting standards. This means they are adopting new accounting rules as they come into effect, which is generally a sign of aiming for more current financial reporting. This is where the core information of the filing lies. Item 8.01 is for other events that the company deems important enough to report, but don't fit into the other categories. And the specific event being reported is the transactional net asset value. This is the highlight of this filing. So here it is. As of the 30th of November 2025, the transactional net asset value for each Class B -1 unit of the Brookfield Private Equity Fund LP was $25.16. This tells us the value per unit on that specific date. It is important to note that this is a transactional NAV, not necessarily the same as a standard net asset value calculated under generally accepted accounting principles. This is critical. They're explaining that this transactional NAV is what they use to set the price for buying and selling their limited partnership units, or units. So if you were looking to invest in or sell your stake in this fund around that time, this $25.16 would have been a key figure in determining the price. They refer us back to a previous filing, a registration statement on Form 10 for the detailed valuation process. This means they are not repeating all that information here, but they are pointing to where that information can be found if you need a deeper understanding of how they arrive at these numbers. Here is a simplified breakdown of how they calculate it. They take the value of their investments at the end of the month, add any other assets like cash, and then subtract their liabilities, which include fees and expenses. It is a pretty standard approach for valuing a fund's assets. This is a significant point. They are disclosing that potential future tax liabilities might not be factored into this transactional NAV if the fund's managers believe those taxes won't actually be incurred when they sell off their investments. This could mean the actual value is slightly lower than what is reported if those tax liabilities do materialize. And they explicitly state that this transactional NAV can be different from the net asset value calculated using standard accounting rules. This distinction is important for investors to understand, as the numbers can be calculated with different objectives and methods. This section is the official sign-off. It is where the authorized individuals sign to confirm the accuracy of the filing. This is standard legal language confirming that the filing is being made officially on behalf of the company by authorized personnel. And here we see the name of the registrant again. The date of the signature is the 12th of January 2026. And the signature indicates it is by Craig Ruckman. And Craig Ruckman's title is Assistant Secretary. This person is authorized to sign this document on behalf of Brookfield Private Equity Fund LP. Now, looking at this filing, it is not filled with dramatic financial turns or strategic shifts. What we have here is a standard, albeit delayed, reporting of a key valuation metric. The fact that they've flagged potential contingent tax liabilities that are not included in this specific NAV calculation is a crucial detail. It means investors should be aware that the reported $25.16 per unit might not reflect the full picture if those taxes do end up being paid upon selling assets. For Brookfield Private Equity Fund LP, this filing serves primarily to provide a concrete value for their Class B -1 units as of a specific past date, likely for ongoing transactions or investor reporting. The strength of the fund based on this single filing is hard to gauge without more context on their actual investments and overall performance. However, the explicit mention of differing valuation methods and unbooked liabilities suggests a need for investors to perform their own due diligence beyond just this report. The weakness, if any, is the clarity for the average investor. Understanding the nuances between transactional NAV and standard accounting NAV, and the implications of unbooked contingent liabilities, requires a certain level of financial literacy. My take is that this is a very specific, almost technical piece of information. It is not a financial health report card for the entire fund, but rather a data point for unit valuation. The biggest takeaway is the caution flag on contingent tax liabilities. It's a reminder that reported numbers often have nuances and assumptions baked in. Alright, that is our breakdown of this Brookfield Private Equity Fund LP filing. What is your take on this kind of valuation reporting? Do you think it is clear enough for investors, or does it raise more questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit that like button. It really does help us out, and subscribe for more of these decoding sessions. And as always, don't forget to check out our Discord community linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.